Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
What do you get when you mix two white boys, both named Mike? A thing for Justin Timberlake and a piercing above your eye. Was he high? Their stories alone could make you cry. That's when you want to make your Irish goodbye.
Look at us, two sides of the tables, Tommies and Tallies.
Look at us, two sides of the tables.
Time.
It is nice though. We've given our guest an extreme, like a central view of himself. This is a good marketing window, right?
Yeah, yes, Jeremiah, how do you feel about it?
I feel real good.
Hell yeah. Welcome,
Feels
everybody,
real nice.
to another episode of Irish Goodbye Podcast, a storytelling podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Feeney, being joined, as always.
Sleepy Mike Cannon. I'm a tie baby boy right now, man. I'm really dragging ass, but I feel like the energy's going to pick up.
It will. I hope so, at least. But we know our energy.
I just want to stop and show you how inspirational this piece of shit is. It's like I need a nice pick me up, maybe a friend hand on the shoulder. This is going to be a great episode.
When people touch you now.
I do. I've always liked when people touch me. I've said that.
That's the first time you've touched me since March, and frankly, don't do it again without written consent.
It felt weird. It felt weird to make contact with your shoulder.
And our guest, our very special guest, you've heard him. He's a former IGP guest. Back when we did our California episodes back in the day, and now he's all the way in New York. We got Mr. fucking Jeremiah Watkins.
It's so nice to be on the Irish Goodbye podcast once again.
Yeah.
It's so nice. It's so good to be here.
Jeremiah.
What county are you from?
Dublin. Dublin County.
Jeremiah has a new album coming out that's called
Family Reunion.
And it's available
On December 11th. The special comes out on December 8th.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
So check that out when it comes out. But for now, what is this? Pieces of broken glass? What is this?
Oh, that's cool. Is that what Vecchione did to make him feel like he was around Italian family?
We were
Shatters
angry
glass.
earlier. We were
broken
just
glass.
like dipping our fists in glass and
Yeah.
So, buddy, you and I shot a sketch that's gonna be out Monday. That was very fun. But just no spoiler alerts here. But involves children making fun of us. It's hard to get kids.
Brendan posted a video on IG, like in the stories, and I was like, I don't know if Feeney wants me to repost these or not, because it felt like a little bit of a giveaway of. Did you see that?
I don't know what I forgot
it.
what he.
It was a guy in a Spider-Man costume playing saxophone. I got to tell you, no further information. I have no idea what it's about.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Or what it is.
There you go.
Perfect. There you go. Check it out Monday.
I got to tell you, made me really want to see it.
Yeah.
Perfect. There you go.
Anyway, Jeremiah, you play saxophone, don't you?
Wait, what?
Yeah, we had a good time. But I forgot two things that happened on the way here. One. I want to tell my thing, and then you can tell your thing, because yours sounds much more dramatic than mine. But first off, I want to say I come over here, I look for some parking, and as I'm going around this block once, the first time, I saw you and somebody else right outside of Gas Digital with the masks on and talking and stuff. So
that wasn't me.
As I was driving by in traffic, I figured I'd push through, and then that would be the fun reveal of the end of the story. So so that's it. So that's the first story, everybody. No further. Hey, get him back over on this side. I hate this. I hate next to me. I hate Seidel's Mike Cannon. He's a story.
I'm just here for support. I was like, oh, no, sweetie, that wasn't me. And you're like, well, that's the point of the story.
Yeah. Well, here's what the thing. I waved to a guy who I thought was you, and then he took down his mask, and it wasn't you at all, but he was like a 54-year-old police officer who just had gray hair and a mask up to here, and I was like, there's my buddy, and it wasn't.
The mask does me no favors in terms of like what people
aging you, because they can't see your darker beard.
No, they don't see my youthful exuberance. They see nothing in my face. They only catch the crow's feet and the dusty gray.
Yeah, but how many times have you been stopped for looking like George Clooney, dude?
Yeah.
I mean, more than I'd like to admit.
Yeah.
It's well, that wasn't. So that was your whole thing.
It would have been fun, but so then I go around the block. So then I go around the block again, and now here's my incident that happened. I'm looking for a spot, and there's an Uber driver who pulls to the side of the road and, is double parked, so to speak. But they're not double parked in the only way you're allowed to double park in the city, which is to be fully double parked so that other cars can go around you.
Right.
This guy is double parked, but his ass is hanging out into the middle of the street, so no one can go around. So I'm not in a huge rush, so I give it 10 or 15 seconds. He's just got the brake lights on, not even like the hazards, just like brake, like it's almost like his car's in park. So I give a little courtesy, just a little honk to see if he'll move. Doesn't move at all. I go, okay. I give it another 5 seconds, nothing. The double beep. Then now cars are behind me. They start beeping. He puts the car fully in park and then puts the hazards on and then proceeds over the next 4 minutes to help this old woman out of his Uber. She was like very old. She had a cane. She was kind of like doing this, like, you take me out, like kind of a thing, like where this guy you could tell is like, I'm not comfortable with this. This was like an older Indian guy. He was like, this isn't my job. I'm not your son. I don't care about you. So he's like trying to like help her out and everything. And all these cars start beeping and stuff. So now she gets it let out, and she immediately like pivots and starts like chirping. She starts chirping at me and the other cars. And while this older Indian man takes forever to get back in his car and reverse a little bit and then start driving, and she starts yelling at me specifically because I am the one that's like the first car waiting for it.
Right.
And she goes. I hope you get wherever you're going. I hope you get wherever you're going soon because I know you must be in such a rush. And I said, oh, no, it's because he didn't pull over, which is very rude, actually, that he didn't pull over that way because I'm allowed to go around. And she starts talking over me. She's like, but you're in a big rush, so I hope you get to where you're going. And then I just snapped and was like, I'm on my way to the hospital to see if my wife's okay. And then she just looked at me, and then I just stared at her, and then she started yelling at the car behind me. She moved right past me.
Flip-flopper.
She moved right past me. She just was like, okay, and you though, but you're the bad guy. And so I immediately I was gonna say, I almost said I have COVID. I almost said my wife's dying. I just said on my way to the hospital to see if my wife's okay, which is such a vague, scary
that's a
sentence.
cliffhanger.
I wish you would have just yelled at an old woman, I have COVID.
It's also like, lady, you should be in a rush. You have limited, finite time left on this planet.
Yeah.
It's like you shouldn't be fucking moseying through life. But is that it? Because I must have...
Stop asking me if that's it.
I don't want to cut you off. I want to give you the respect
That's it.
to finish.
I'm done. I was mad and I left and then I found another spot immediately.
I'm here for my boy.
Stop touching me.
So, because I guess I ran into this woman's younger self, and actually I thought it was me once you started. You just flinched, Jesus Christ.
Never seen you guys touch before
so
today.
weird. I hate it.
It's a very physical podcast.
very-
Jeremiah,
I'm
get over
feeling
here.
real good.
You're like dad at the dinner table, just perfectly roomy. My father wouldn't allow people to sit on the same side of the table as him
Really?
because he was that much of a physical presence. If he was like, maneuvering,
He just eats like this.
just Charles Oakley boxing people out on the table. So I'm driving and I have parking problems. This kid has a silver parking spot shoved up his ass.
Yeah.
He has just elite
Found one
luck
immediately after
and
that.
ability to find a spot. It's insane, right? Infuriating and insane. I don't. I have the opposite. I'm a bad looker. I'm bad looking. I also just can't. I just, for whatever reason, I don't have the patience. I can't do it. So today I get here early, like 3 o'clock. We're recording this at 4:45. But I'm going around the street. Can't believe it. There's a spot, and there's like some blue-haired lady, not old, blue-haired young New Yorker standing in the spot, which I'm like, okay, she's probably holding it for a friend, but this is New York City. That's not allowed. So I pull up and I put my car into reverse and she just stands there and I'm like, I inch and she goes, hey, and I just roll down my window and I'm like, hey, can you move please? I'm going to back up. She's like, oh, I'm holding this spot for my friend. And I'm like, you're not, because that's not how New York City works. And she goes, what? I am. And I go, she was like, it's my right. And I go, weirdly enough, it's not, because you're in the street and I'm driving an automobile. So kind of my right, to be honest.
Yeah.
And she's like, nope, not going anywhere. And I'm like, okay. So I start backing up again. And all these Hispanic guys start like coming out. And then she like gets like really, she's like, hey, Stop fucking backing up. Stop backing up. And I just roll down the window and I go, lady, get the fuck out of the street. I go, get the fuck out of the street. Yeah. And she goes, this is my right? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, you must not be from here. I understand. This is not suburbia. You don't hold spots. This isn't a kindergarten lunch line. That's not how this city works. You can stand there and hope that nobody questions it, but otherwise, as soon as somebody speaks up, you kind of got to count that as an L and get the fuck up out of the way. And she's like, I don't. I grew up here. And I go, no, you didn't. I go, I know you didn't. Your blue hair isn't some sort of New York passport that says I am from the Alphabet Village. If you knew and you were from here, you'd get out of the way because I might kill you. Yeah. I mean, if you had a New York City awareness, you'd know that I could be an unhinged fucking devil human that could get out of my Subaru and fucking eat you. I might eat you. It's the end of times, lady. 100%. But this is what makes it tough. So, like, you know how you want to hurt somebody's feelings so bad, you want to yell the worst thing to them?
Sure.
Yes.
And, you know, that's how people get in trouble with racial slurs. That's how people get in trouble with misogyny and all that stuff. Because the one thing, I was just looking at this lady and I just wanted to be like, Trump 2020, you fucking bitch. I want all your rights taken away. I want somebody to reach inside of your body and snap your reproductive organs out of your asshole and then slingshot them into the East River, you fucking zero. But instead, I go, get out of the way. And she said no again. And, you know, at this point...
That's a hard part, too, because you're stuck. If she doesn't move, she does the go ahead and hit me thing, then you're like... Then it's kind of like... Your only option, your only chess move, she's got you at check, but not checkmate, because I've been in that with people before where they don't want, and we've talked about this, I had a similar thing happen to me on the podcast, but what you do at that point was I just go, well, now my day is going to be ruining yours, because I will stay in this spot, halfway in this spot, and the person that you want to get the spot won't get the spot. Right. So I will... you losing is me winning now, if it comes to it.
Well, let me fill you in on what happened to me, because as I'm telling her to get the fuck out of the street and I'm screaming at her because I've just absolutely had it with her bullshit, every Latino man on 7th Street came out and literally was dying laughing, like losing their mind. And I'm like, that's how Trump got the Latino vote. Yeah. And then she's like, what are you going to do? Literally says, what are you going to do? And I go... put it in reverse, and I hit her. I literally just backed... I literally just backed my car. She slapped the back, sidestepped and slapped the back of my car and goes, this is an illegal act! That was her big phrase, and I go, get the fuck out of the way, lady. And I smashed into the car behind me. It was insane. Hit the car, and I'm like trying to edge in and be cool, but the Spanish guys on the street are like on the floor, dying laughing. And I was like, what? I was like, you didn't get the fuck out of the way. This is my spot. You can't hold it. I'm sorry that you're an idiot and you decided to take this to this level, but I'm not gonna fucking lose to some frumpy blue-haired bitch that is just mouthing off because she knows she can't get hit.
But what happened? So when you left,
wish either of you reacted in a humorous way to that.
Also, is there a funnier juxtaposition between our two stories, and then we cut to Jeremiah with going like, hey gang, just happy to be here, happy as heck to promote the album.
This is exactly why Jeremiah and I aren't as close as I think we should be, and I'm pretty sure I've frightened him on several occasions.
No, not at all. But how did this lady react after you What
she just walked away.
Aren't you afraid she's gonna key your car?
She just walked away. After all that, she walks away, right? And my immediate thought is, all right, this lady's gonna like take something to my car and like fuck it up or whatever. So I walk around and I get a sandwich at the deli on the corner, and then I walk back to my car, and I'm like, okay, she's not here. There's no keys. There's no nothing like that. I kind of push in the mirrors on the side. I'm like, I just want to make sure it's not being fucked with. So I go back to the studio. I eat my sandwich. You're not here yet, and you guys were still recording. I was like, I'm going to walk back. I just want to make sure that it's not being fucked with, whatever. So I walk back, and as I'm walking, her and her girlfriend are literally, in lockstep walking right by my car, looking at it, and I'm like, hey, like right behind her, like, hey, ladies, how you doing? Don't touch my fucking car. And they just kind of like muttered some, horse shit and continued walking on their merry way.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's the worst. Because then it's like, even when you feel like you've won, you still have that thing of being like, the whole rest of the time my car is there. I'm like somewhat worried that it's going to be
I took a picture of her, though.
Oh, good.
That's
didn't.
good.
I wish I did.
Oh, what a great idea that would have been.
This all happened today?
This happened like seconds before I came here. Yeah.
Wow,
I had nothing for the show before that.
Mike, Jeremiah, two of my favorites. Let's take a second and talk about our sponsor, Omigo.
Omigo. They're an amazing bidet brand changing the way you poop.
Listen, we've all been raised in a toilet paper society.
That's right. We have.
But now is when we realize shit is different.
That's correct. And the pun with shit is different is right, because our diets are worse. Things are clinging to things that they're not supposed to. I mean, my poo is a paste, so I can't possibly take paper to this thing and get a thorough cleaning. What I do is I power wash my asshole with an Omigo bidet.
With Omigo, you can turn any toilet into a bidet. It's so incredibly easy and fast to install.
Think about it. You're pooping at home every day. If your diet is right, why not treat your butthole with a little respect? It will change your life. You'll never go back to toilet paper.
You have to check them out. This is the bidet for every single toilet, every butt, every budget.
Yep. Go to myomigo.com/goodbye. That's MYOMIGO.com/goodbye and take 15% off today.
That's MYOMIGO.com/GOODBYE and take 15% off.
Guys, get a bidet today.
And let's get back to the show.
I do. Okay, I want to ask you guys, because we all travel a lot, or we did, because of stand-up, flying places in general.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What are your rules when you are sitting in the middle seat and there's a person to your left and your right? Who gets the armrest?
I'd like to think that middle seat gets armchair preference. And now here's the thing: I'm a big proponent of sharing the armrest, but I think that the person in the middle gets to decide whether they want to be an elbows in the back of the armrest or an elbows in the front of the armrest type of person. And then you could either tuck in or tuck forward if you're on the aisles, if you so choose, but also just give them the fucking armrests.
I'm middle gets both. Middle gets both armrests. That's part of why I'm sitting. Like I got stuck with the.
Thank you.
Yeah. I got stuck with the shit seat. You guys can lean either way.
Yeah.
If we share the same armrest, it's fucking gross. Get your hot arm away from me. I don't want to feel your skin or anything that is adjoined to your body.
I think it depends how long the flight is too. If it's like a flight to Florida, that's
3 to 4 hour flight.
If you're talking, yeah, I mean, I think you should be able to just suck it up and just lean on either side. You know what I mean? But if we're going to like fucking Ireland or something, there's no way I'm leaning like this for 7.5 hours.
Yes, you are.
That's a fuck you. That's what I say.
I had an Australian guy sleep on my shoulder en route to Bali.
Oh, no.
He was just shit-faced, and I was like, buddy, have at it. Have the shoulder. I don't give a shit. He was like a delightful guy that I talked to right before we took off.
All right, that's nice.
Yeah.
Why would happen?
I have a couple incidents where I'm usually very polite and very nice to people, but sometimes something flips inside where I'm like, I'm gonna get taken advantage of if I'm too nice in this situation.
Yes.
One guy, the first time, he leaned over me when I was trying to sleep next to the window. I had the window down. He leaned over me to pull up the window shade.
Oh.
And I literally just looked over at this guy, go,
just turn into Sebastian.
Yeah. What are you doing?
No,
You think you're gonna open my shade?
no.
You're not gonna do it.
My shade. That's why it's on my side.
You know, he's not talking.
gonna reach over me.
Yeah.
Who are these people?
That's like a Brando Sebastian combo.
Who are these people?
You come to me today, you reach over, you grab a shade. What are you doing? Come on, you're not gonna do that to me, all right?
Dude, I've had that the opposite though, where now here's my other. It goes two ways though, because if you're the person in the window seat and you're gonna take
Let's
a
be
nap,
clear. It goes only the way in which we're going. You know, we're right 100% of the time. So if we're
Because,
sitting in
no,
the middle, it's our rule. If we're sitting in one of the other seats, it's
if
our
you're
rule.
sitting in the if you're sitting in the window seat, you can control whether you want it to be up or down. But if you're asleep, there's no one that should reach over and open it. But if you're a fucking asshole who goes to sleep with it up and it's a bright, sunshiny day, I'm reaching over you and I'm putting it down. And if you wake up and go, I actually prefer it, I have to put it up, we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
I've had on planes like a kid.
It was the quickest, most succinct agreement of three men have ever had. All three summed up. Yeah.
We don't do this on this show, but convoy.
So what were you saying, Jeremiah?
I had a kid. Two other quick little things. I had a kid lean back, like, because I have very long legs.
Yeah.
Like you guys
Long
do.
legs of the law, baby.
And I was behind this kid next to the window, and they start one of those planes where the seats are right on top of each other.
Yeah.
And they start to try to recline. And I literally lean forward to the kid. I go, it's not going to happen.
I like your sexy in fucking like dramatic plane voice that you do.
Yeah, I have to turn into a different version of myself.
Yes.
To
I-
get into that mode.
You have to access it.
I have to like
become
it's
a
deep.
character.
It's very deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're Jeremy Watkins.
Very spicy. Going back to the middle seat thing. This guy was a guy who was a douchebag. He was just a douchebag who was next to me, he had his arm on the thing, and I'm in the middle. He's on the aisle. He tries to put his right arm next to me, like on the thing, where he starts to nudge me off.
You can't get. He's boxing you out.
He's boxing me out, and I literally was like, really? And I slowly, first, kind of passively aggressively, put my elbow next to his. And I'm like, going to have some of this for sure.
Yeah.
He kind of does an adjustment where he knocks me off again. And then I go, I go right back at him, and he looks at me. He's like, are we doing this? I go, oh, yeah.
Are we doing this?
I go, yeah, we're doing this. He goes, what do you expect to happen? I go, this is my armrest. And he goes, this is your armrest? I go, yeah, everybody knows the middle seat gets both armrests. He goes, that's a made up rule. I go, ask anybody.
Yeah.
It's not a made up rule. I'm in the middle seat. I don't want to be here. He goes, I fly all the time. I've flown all around the world. I've flown hundreds of thousands of miles. And I'm just looking at this guy like, first of all, I'm like, you're at the same area as I'm in. And I'm not in an upgraded, you know what I mean? I'm not a coach.
Yeah, I'm not even in more legroom section.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Your medallion status has expired.
Yeah. You're with me, buddy. Bottom of the barrel now.
Yeah.
And he keeps saying that he has the right to keep his arm there. And Tony Hinchcliffe leans over. I was flying with him, and he leans over. He goes, not to get involved, but he's kind of right. And then he goes back. He goes back.
Wait, he said that to you
He said
or
it to me, like encouraging, like me, like defending me, like slightly. Because I
but
kept
also stirring more shit at the same time.
also stirring it because I looked over at him a couple times because he saw everything that was going on, and I'm like, I think I have to say something. He's like, don't say anything. It's like, I'm like, no, I have to say something. And then like that's when we started nudging each other, and the guy hated me the rest of the flight because I kept my arm there. Like I would say I ended up getting 90% ownership, and he kept trying to put his elbow, but it kept falling off because there wasn't enough room. And I was like,
he has just the one part, just this bone
Just that
on it,
one weird
just this
bone.
little bone
It protrudes if you put it on there too long.
Yeah, it's like the principle for him, so it hurts, but he's like, it's falling asleep,
this
but
is
he
more
goes,
of a stance that I'm doing than
He has
anything.
numb elbow.
And he ended up giving up and just reading his newspaper like this. And I was just really upset. And I was like, yeah, dude, that's what happens.
It's the best when like you know what you're doing because you're just like you just firm it down
must have
like
hurt
that.
so bad.
I felt none of it, but now I do. It was like a time released Adderall. But,
I felt it.
But having it down like that, so I don't. Usually, what I do in that situation is I don't push in their direction. I push down and I dare them to try to move me because if they move me from pushing down, it means that they're exerting themselves in a way that's inappropriate. Do you know what I mean? So if they're pushing against it and getting that means they're actively fighting with me over the armrest.
Yeah.
It's insane. Although weirdly enough, in COVID restrictions, like there's no middle seat, so people are just aisle in window, which honestly should be just the way of the world. But I saw somebody. Like, I don't think they got kicked off a flight, but they definitely got moved because they just sat in the middle. So they didn't want their aisle seat. They just sat in the middle next to somebody, and the person kept trying to explain to them how not only did they not want them there, it wasn't their seat, and because of the restrictions, it's just like not cool.
Yeah.
And the person was like, I just prefer it. It's like everybody is looking for a fist fight, and nobody, once they're in a fist fight, wants to be in a fist fight.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so bizarre how many, like, we're such a fucking lawsuit pussy country that everybody is like trying to financially. Sorry, he just took a picture and that freaked me out. I've never had that.
Dude.
Yeah.
Brendan is texting me asking me when I'm coming to the city, so I'm letting him know that I was.
Oh, what?
I know.
Okay. Whatever. I don't remember what I was saying. Yeah, everybody. I'm ready to fight everybody.
Yeah. You know who you shouldn't fight? The people who left us all those 5-star reviews on iTunes.
they're my people.
There's so many of them. Thank you guys for leaving us a 5-star review. Continue to do so. Tell a friend about the podcast. We are now on the next chapter of our story here. We are the Sopranos of podcasts. You should be listening from the beginning. We're now at episode 201. Oh my God. And Jeremiah, who else would we have kick us off?
Did you know what Jeremiah translates to? A new beginning.
Oh,
Boom.
yeah? Whoa.
Yep.
We
Holy
planned
shit.
it that way for sure.
Boom.
This is the first episode of our 300s. No, 200s.
I just said it.
But the third 100. That's what I meant.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's the first episode of our third 100.
The countdown to 300 begins.
That's right. New
so,
beginnings.
Guys, tell more friends about the podcast. We always got room, but the train's leaving the station, so get on board now while you can. If you want to support the show in other ways, you can go to gasdigitalnetwork.com, use the code IGP. That gives you access to all of the other episodes that we've done that are behind the paywall. Again, we've done over 200 plus bonus content, all that other stuff. You want to check all that stuff out. All the other shows on the network, all their bonus content, all their backlog stuff. It's crazy. All that stuff. Use the code IGP. It also gives you a discount to podcastmerch.com. Look at those shirts. Look at those hoodies.
We're about to have a new one drop, too.
Yes, that's a quick tease. We're going to do a limited run of a special
holiday,
seasonal tee, and maybe you get your hands on one, and that's a little tease. It'll be coming in the next few weeks. And social media at Irish Goodbye Podcast on everything, and irishgoodbyepodcast@gmail.com. And Jeremiah, again, plug that album. Tell people where they can find you and all that other stuff.
Yes, I have a album that is coming out in December 11th. It's called Jeremiah Watkins Family Reunion.
Yes.
And the special you'll be able to pre-order now on my website, jeremiahwatkins.com, or on December 8th, you can just rent it on Amazon Prime. And then, Mike, I brought you some merch because you said you like flat rim hats.
Oh, I do. And this is I fucking love blue. Look at this,
I
too.
want that.
Look at this.
It's my Sax hat.
Sax hat, baby. Oh, I like that. They'll be like,
want
"Do
it.
you play it?" Oh, this is great. Black
Ken
and
said
blue.
he's not a flat rim guy.
Fucked up. I fucked up.
This really matches my whole outfit too. It's really
You've never looked better. You've never looked better.
And I'm in.
You didn't even have to adjust it. What was that?
Yeah, dude, I've been taking his head measurements while we were filming earlier in the week, too. It was really crazy.
7 1/3.
Just eyeballed
Okay,
it.
let's see here.
Oh, wow, I love it. Great hat. Wow, super comfy.
Is that an alto or a tenor?
That is an alto. I primarily play alto, but I do have a tenor that I play as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sexy. Yeah, and so guys, go support Jeremiah, one of the fucking nicest guys in comedy. So fucking hilarious.
And Mike's been on my podcast,
Yes.
Feeney, and I got to get Cannon on
Anytime,
my
bud.
podcast. But we did it a while ago in
Jeremiah
LA
Wonders.
when your album came out, which
Yes.
is a year
today.
Today.
A year ago today.
where it happened. So yeah,
What a good guy.
Yeah, you see that? And so and also, when stand-up comedy comes back to life, go check out Stand Up on the Spot. It's one of my I've talked about that in this show extensively. One of my favorite shows. So
super fun.
What if that time that I came into New York Comedy Club, I had just like taken an edible a little while before, and because I think I was judging roast battle and there was nothing else I could have done. It was just great. It was just an easy night, and I walk in and it's you and I think Jeff Ross were on stage, and you're like, "Hey, so and so didn't show up. Want to go last?" And I'm like, Yeah.
Wants to live, dude.
Hell yes. And I ended up getting like 2 bits out of it
Heck
for
yeah.
my album.
That's my favorite thing.
Dude,
to
and
hear.
I recorded my album like a month and a half later, but because of that show and because of the acceptance from the crowd and them like kind of green lighting everything you're saying, it came out basically fully formed, so the shit was ready to press immediately.
That's the
It was
highest
great.
compliment to the show. Thank you, man. I love
course.
hearing that. That's the best.
Love
When
it.
comics say that they get bits out of the show, it's like it's everything.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
I love seeing it show up on albums and specials and stuff. It's the best.
So good.
And while you guys are on the internet, go and get Jeremiah stuff again. Check out Rage Against the Routine. It's over a year old now, so if you haven't watched it yet, if you're any new listeners, go check it out. Stand-up special on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mike Feeney Comedy. And I'm putting out videos every single week, so go check them out on my, again, it'll be on my YouTube, on my social media, at I am Mike Feeney, everywhere. And spread them around, tell people about it. We also have a Patreon podcast called What's the Scenario? It is with Mike Cannon and Brendan Sagalow and myself. We just do silly what-if situations and morality questions, hypotheticals. It's a comedy obstacle course that you help create. So you can check that out on Patreon for as little as $5 a month, patreon.com/scenariopod. And dates and everything, you can go to MikeFeeneyComedy.com. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, at I am Mike Cannon across the board, all social media. Thank you, everybody, for sharing all the videos and doing all that jazz. YouTube.com/Mike Cannon Comedy, all the content there. I mean, just like Feeney, we have hours of stand-up material for free. You don't have to stream it on Pandora. You don't have to do anything. You just go to our YouTube. It's all up there. We have individual clips, bite-sized stuff. If you want to share with people that might want to get into us or whatever, we will allow them inside of us. And okay, and yeah, and I got sketches. I have a whole Frank Rigatone series. Just dropped a new emergency election fraud video from Frank Rigatone, and I'm actually going on JL Colvin's Trump podcast as Frank Rigatone. So
You
doing
may
my
never
first
come back
character
from
work.
this.
Honestly,
This may be. I feel I can see this from very far out, like a ship commander who sees an iceberg. I'm going, this is something that it is Venom from Spider-Man, where it is slowly taking over the rest of your body. Before you know it, there's gonna be a Frank Rigatone podcast, and the Mike Cannon we once knew will never return.
It was Frank that backed his car into that blue-haired woman.
yeah.
It was for
You
sure.
just put the bandana on, and all of a sudden you're like, and another thing.
Just put on eye black underneath.
Yeah.
But yeah, so check out, like we said, the clicks and subscriptions are all currency. So do us a favor. It's all free, obviously. Jeremiah's social media, his YouTube, our social media, our YouTube. It's easy, super low effort on your part, but it means a lot to us, and it helps us leverage jobs and money in the future. So please do that. And then what else? Oh, I have dates. MikeCannonComedy.com. So we rescheduled the Atlantic City date, which I was supposed to do on Halloween weekend. Didn't sell great. And so we moved it to November 20th. All the tickets from the people that bought for the Halloween weekend, they're going to transfer over. So they'll send an email out to you guys. Those are still good. But November 20th, Atlantic City, the Celebrity Theater, 3rd floor of the Claridge Hotel. Come out to that. That's going to be a great one. Then the next night, the 21st, I'm going to be in Colchester, Connecticut at the Stranger Tides Brewery. Then December 3rd. So I had to take away the 1st and the 2nd because I was lucky enough to book a cool thing. But the 3rd, I will be at Uncle Vinny's Comedy Club in Point Pleasant, Jersey. And then December 6th, a big one. Come out to this. Philly Helium. Everybody in Philadelphia, come out to that. Surrounding areas. I'm going to film it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I am going to put something together and release another project this year because what the fuck else are we doing? Who knows when we're going to get back on stage? Shit's cold out there right now. So support us. MikeCannonComedy.com for tickets. And Alex, what do you have, lady?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Alex Scar, and check out my podcast, Broad Topics, TOPIX, here on Gas Digital Network with Kim Congdon. It's every Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. You can watch live on Gas Digital, or you could catch it for free on iTunes and YouTube every Monday.
Nice.
Hell yeah. I don't know if we talked about this, but did we talk about the Legion of Skanks trial?
No, and I have a really fun short tidbit about Michael T. Feeney that everybody needs to hear about.
Okay.
Do you want to get into?
I don't know what you're talking.
It was just fun. Like, so we're obviously.
Oh wait, I do know. Yeah.
So we got asked to be on the jury of Legion of Skanks, which basically they wanted 12 more audience members because we didn't get to speak, we didn't get to really weigh in, and I'm
12
not even
comedians
sure.
lending their time, getting. And by the way, Alex, mandated that we wear costumes.
Yeah.
So there was an expense incurred on our behalf, and we were told we were going to be a fulcrum, fundamental part of the trial, where at the very least,
I thought.
at the very least, we would get to say our vote at the very
Honestly,
end.
that's not even the least. The least would have been if they read our votes.
Yeah. If you didn't think we wrote down snarky little
Of
things,
course
we
I
wrote
did.
little
I
jokes
did a
down.
callback to our last episode of Legion of Skags. Of course I voted for Lewis because I wanted Lewis to get a punishment. I wanted to get him a cum sock across the face or something like that. And honestly, I thought he was more responsible for it than Ari. But either way, we didn't get to speak up, which was perfectly fine. We took that opportunity to get just viciously stoned and disoriented. And there was a moment.
Well, it was more than that because you rolled an extra blunt just for Brendan and I.
Yeah.
And I haven't.
Good friend.
Good friend. A great friend. I haven't smoked a blunt in months. And
Since the last time I made you.
Yeah, probably. I don't smoke blunts, so they're very strong. And then Brendan and I, we just finished it, and then we went inside and we were trying to kill time beforehand, and then it all that's the thing with the blunts. They just start clawing at you, and just ripping away any sort of consciousness or ability to be not disoriented.
Yeah, they're a bit of they're like S&M for weed. Like it's a joy, but it's also a little bit of pain.
Punishment. Yeah.
So we were smoking, and I think I rolled several for the entire evening. I was relentlessly smoking during the entire thing, and we were inside, and I think I ordered my first of what turned out to be 4 orders of pulled pork sandwich, and I only got it after the 4th one. The waitress kept coming up to me after and being like, I forgot. And I'm like, the 4th time, it got less charming.
Yeah,
I was like, but totally understand. So we're all smoking, and Feeney, Feeney is next to me, and he's frantically patting himself, right? And he's like, what the fuck? And I'm just kind of watching him, and he's just pulling apart his whole outfit, trying to look for something. So I'm assuming
I am in an outfit. I'm dressed up as the comedy police. So I also have aviators on, so it's dark, so I can't see anything. And I realize I'm not wearing a mask, which is required. So now I'm freaking out because I don't want to get in trouble. Right. I don't want to get anybody else in trouble.
You popped those glasses off too.
Did I?
You did, yeah.
Okay.
So you popped the glasses off, and you were looking, and you're like, I can't find my mask. And you're looking, and I'm just looking at you, and it is just comfortably nestled under your chin.
Yeah.
Wrapped
the chin
around,
strap. Yeah.
Wrapped around each ear. And I'm just I look at him, and he's just and I'm like, hey, bud, there it is. And you're like, oh. And so he takes it, and he goes to pull it up, and he tries to do it in a very quick, just a one sweeping movement thing to let's get past this. And it gets caught on his fake mustache and just drops immediately down.
I was
and
wearing a fake mustache.
He looks at me, and it's the most vulnerable my friend has ever been in front of me in my entire life. I was like, Jesus Christ, I didn't touch your shoulder.
This was Mike's response. Can we have is this my camera? Is this my camera? This was Mike's response when he saw me do that. This was it. Ready? He sees me do that and goes like this. And just starts writing away immediately. Not even so much as a
like we've said on the show, we don't have a real friendship. We just have a catalyst for stories.
yeah, a jumping off point, if you will. Jeremiah, have you ever made your friends feel bad?
Yeah. That's a funny question. Have you ever made your friends feel bad? Let me try to think. You were talking about things that felt good, but also you regret later. I'm a big. I do this, and I don't know why I don't learn from this. Every time I eat spicy food, I always forget that no matter how much I wash my hands after, when I go to take out my contacts,
no,
that it's going to burn like crazy.
Oh God!
So that happened literally last night.
And didn't you just eat spicy food moments ago?
Yeah, I just. I just had
Remember
it.
now.
I really, yeah.
Moments ago, he's like, yeah.
So speaking of which, so this happened last night, though.
This happened last night, and then, it's always a mess. It's always like because you remember the good memories of having spicy food. You're like, that was nice. But then, the eyes, and then your butthole later on, immediately
butthole.
after. That's that's how I relate to people who have hangovers and stuff. I have spicy hangovers for sure.
Well, and how old are you?
32.
It's different the older you get, which I've been a spicy food gal my entire life.
Like spicy food gal?
Yeah, my entire life.
I've been a spicy food queen for a while, and I can take on peppers.
SFQ.
But now, every time I do it, like the next day, the way I equate it is like it's like there's a hot cup of soup at the doorway of my asshole, and the seal is tenuous at best.
It's like one of those Bounty commercials where they show how much liquid it could hold.
Yes,
It's pouring through.
it's right before the tear.
Yeah. That's awful. It's an awful, awful image I'll never unsee. Look at Jeremiah is
just wincing in pain. Just, well, I pooped earlier today. It was real rough, but
Was it here?
yeah.
Because that's good with the bidet.
Oh no, so I have not had a bidet in years, and I tried the bidet here at Gas Digital, and it was, I don't know if I did it wrong, but it was hot. It was very.
You can control the temperature and the pressure, and also they have like the fan belt running, so it's like a car idling.
It felt very aggressive.
Yeah,
it was like real up there.
That's the stream Lewis needs it on.
Yeah.
Oh doggy! Oh doggy, that's so good. Yeah.
Are you guys gonna slap box rematch there?
No, because here's my thing. We're going back to making friends feel bad about themselves. I love that I have that power over Lewis,
100%.
and I can never give him that opportunity to shift the fields again.
That's what I was gonna say.
We're both very competitive people by nature, but it's one of those things that he has to look at that footage forever, and I'm not gonna give him the chance to redeem himself. That's so funny because his ego is, he's a very strong, like he's doing a proper fight and with Ellis Mania and stuff.
Yeah.
And the fact that he got slapped around by me.
I'm just a little baby.
Look
Look at my milky little hands. I'm a fresh puddled white boy.
Fresh puddle white boy. I don't know what that is.
And with this lighting hitting you, you look like if a whiteout marker was wearing a black T-shirt.
Dude, I was looking at the monitor earlier and I was like, is this how it's going to go out? Because I'm looking super white right now.
Oh, yeah. No, Alex is going to do hours of posts.
Yeah, she colors the whole thing. You look like a brand new vampire.
Hi there. So, can I suck you now or later?
Yeah.
But that's also so I don't know if you've considered this, but the 3D chess way of even looking at that is now Lewis, who is forever pissed, forever butthurt over this one incident, is going to constantly give you free press trying to reignite the feud.
That's
great.
a good point. That's
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
That is a win-win.
Yeah, because he must bring it up literally every time he sees you.
We had a thing. I mean, we brought it up. It was actually pretty funny on Legion of Skanks when I thought he was going to be way more aggro about it. But, like, he brought it up a couple times. He's like, this guy won't give me a rematch. But then Jay kept making fun of him so much that he recoiled into a little ball, and he was just like,
he just got sad.
He just got sad, and it was like, well, I guess this is one way for me to win. Just Lewis getting really sad and becoming a smaller man.
Only
like,
a
on the
few
inside.
people can do that to Lewis, turn him into pouty baby boy.
Harness it.
forever.
Yeah.
You're like Doc Ock. You're like the power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
Well, that's the thing. Like when we did, so when I wrote, I don't know if you guys saw it or not. I wrote a love song for my wife that I put out.
I saw that.
Dude, Lewis went after me hard.
Can we pull those up by any chance? Know how the quickest way to find them would be, Alex, I guess, on Jeremiah's social media. And then you would have to, Lewis posts 75 things a day.
It's so funny that, like, I forget to be cynical about stuff like that. Like,
Right.
I saw that and I was like, oh, that was beautiful. Like, what?
That's very
Kid
nice.
taught
Very
himself
nice.
how to play
Yeah, I was like,
piano
that's really
during
nice.
during quarantine.
His wife must mean a lot to him.
Yeah, wrote a love ballad.
See, and that's what the demographic of people who it's for. Like, there's a bunch of people like, why would you do this? I'm like, if you're writing, why would you do this? This is not for you.
Yeah.
Like, if you're writing like this sucks, why would you ever do this? Like, dude, that's obviously not for you.
Yeah.
I'm not putting it out for you specifically.
Well, that's what's interesting, right? Is like everybody's hoping for a niche market and you can really kind of focus on a thing and like keep hitting that bell. But what happens when you yourself have a lot of niche markets inside of you?
It's true.
Wow.
It's called schizophrenia, people.
Yeah. It's actually
a very, very big problem.
it's a crippling disease.
It's a crippling career disease.
Yeah.
I can't focus. I don't know.
My varying personalities inside of me are like different flea market booths.
Yeah,
that's how I look
That's a good
at
way
it.
to look at it. Yeah, for sure. Different street vendors over here.
Sugar dates and beets, sugar dates and pistachio.
I also, no, Aladdin.
Yeah.
I also,
See, now you guys are getting your touch
Stop it. I also, I just realized we probably shouldn't pull up the video because I remember the language Lewis uses isn't proper.
What?
But I think so, right? Doesn't he drop a lot of hard Fs in that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, wait, you were saying, so Jeremiah writes a love song to his wife. He puts it on social media. People love it. Lewis decides he's gonna Weird Al you and make his own version of it.
Which, honestly, that was the funniest thing that he could do.
Yeah.
Because what made me laugh, like I laughed out loud while I watched it. I like I laughed and I shook my head. I literally said, "He got me."
Yeah.
He got me. And my wife was literally, she's like, "What are you watching?" You're like, I was laughing maniacally, like while I was watching. I was like, "I gotta show you what this guy did." And she's like, "Lewis?" I was like, "I gotta show it to you."
Yeah.
And I showed it to her. She's like, "That's pretty funny."
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. He's basically like, I'm doing like to the same tune. The funniest part of the video that he put up, and I don't even know if he left it on his Instagram or whatever. I wore a collared shirt with a black background, like I did it, so it looks it looks dramatic. It really does. And I've never seen Lewis in a button-up shirt before, and I'm like, I think he had to go buy a button-up shirt for this video. That's the funniest part to me, is that he had to invest.
Yeah.
And
It definitely-
I wonder I bet Bobby probably had something to do with the production of that. I wonder where he shot that or how he shot it.
he definitely just shot
Bobby,
it
do you
on
know,
Zoom.
Where
and
did he
used a
shoot it,
black
Bob? Oh,
background.
on Zoom, was it? Was it
Yeah.
on Zoom, Bobby?
Yeah, I think it was on Zoom.
Yeah.
And he definitely bought
Wait,
that
Bobby,
button-down
did you help him shoot it on Zoom?
Oh, Bobby's getting a hold
He also
of it.
bought that button down at his local bodega for sure.
Where did he shot it on Zoom and
At his apartment, yeah.
at his apartment? Okay.
He has a piano there.
But did he have a collared shirt before the video? Do we know that for a
that
fact?
I don't know for sure.
I mean,
It's not a positive.
he's been to family court. Of course he does.
No, I just picture him wearing the T-shirt that's a dress shirt. You know what I mean? Like the fake tuxedo shirt.
but not to give too much away, I know that he went and he got a musician to find to play the piano and record that for
Oh,
him.
so he was actually. Oh, so he got
No.
somebody to.
He got somebody
somebody
to do the
else,
exact
yeah.
tune, because I listened, since I'm a musician, I listened and I was looking for, you can hear cuts on a loop when if somebody like repurposed your sample of
Sure.
something.
Yeah, yeah.
And I listened close. I was like, he had somebody help him with this. And
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
Yes.
That he found a musician to freaking, and
Spared no expense.
his turnaround time was unbelievable.
Super fast.
I mean-
it was like 2
I think I
hours
saw.
later.
I think I saw.
views than my video.
I think,
got more views than my video. That's what made me mad.
I think most of the people saw his before yours.
I know. They're like, this is a
What is
brilliant
Lewis
song.
doing?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about someone who put together a comedy festival in 2 weeks. So.
Yeah.
True.
Good
true,
point.
True.
Very
I mean,
good point.
I
So he made
love-
Rebecca do all of it.
Yeah.
Dude, see, I never knew that story. It's very that makes all of this so much funnier to me, that the back and forth, like, because I had a T-shirt that I made that I sold for a day.
I love my wife. What was
No,
it?
it was
just super nice.
Lewis's head that I had my buddy over at Meth Syndicate put together. Shout out to them, they're awesome. With me with thought bubbles, and it was 3 pictures of me, like basically insinuating that I'm living inside of Lewis's head.
Love
Nice.
And we sold a couple on their website, on the Meth Syndicate website. And this got Lewis mad. He's like, "You can't use my image without my permission." He got so mad, and he threatened to like legally like pursue this. And I was like, dude, this is the funniest reaction you can
Imagine getting a
have.
cease and desist from the Puerto Rican
I
rattlesnake.
know. You can't use my image without my permission. I'm like, what? You just called me gay and all this stuff. Like, you used my song against me, and I'm a good sport, and I make a couple of T-shirts.
Oh my God, that's so
really
good.
funny that he.
It was funny, dude. Like the back and forth, like we hash it out like here in New York, but we had a thing where I don't think he wanted to talk to me for a while. Like it affected our friendship for a little bit. Like
About the
of
shirt?
T-shirts?
no, just in general because I wouldn't slap box him. But I think it got to a point where it was serious where he's like, nah, I don't want to like he wasn't messing with me at all. And then it got to a point where it's just, oh, there it is.
Play it.
Okay, I guess language alert
we're
for
for-
people.
we're 48 minutes in.
Before you play mine a little bit for context before you play this.
Oh, yeah,
because
pull
it'll
that.
hit harder if
Okay, give me a minute to
All right,
find
and
it.
also-
mine's on YouTube.
Lewis-
If you type in "I Need You" by Jeremiah Watkins.
Lewis looks like he just got off work at Mavis.
And Alex, what you were about to say something before that?
No, it's good. I was just letting you know I got it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we'll play a little sample of it, but yeah, anybody who has issues with the lyrics, take it up with Lewis. I'm sure he'd
Yeah.
love to hear it. Lewis is.
Somebody, we get this message like a couple times a month where somebody's like, "Hey man, how do I support the podcast and not give a nickel to Lewis?"
it's a hard path to forge, but people find a way. Oh, here we go.
Since the moment we locked eyes,
I love the reverb too, by the way.
caught me by surprise. Thank you. Love me. I long for your warm embrace, the caress of your face. We just were.
Question:
Yeah.
Is this song
I think I
directly involved in the conception of your child?
It was playing at the time.
yeah. I just put on my own songs in the background and stuff. Yeah, it's no biggie.
But did she hear this and then that's the result?
No, but I mean, it was
Because I woulda.
She found it. I think she found it surprising as well as
Surprising!
as my family was shocked that I wrote a song about my wife because I'm not a very I don't talk about my feelings and personal things. I'm much more of like I go for the bits and the silly and the jokes. So I don't reveal that side of myself very often. So that's also what made this me as a comedian. When Lewis had that rebuttal, it was so funny and just like a karma way of being like, maybe you shouldn't be doing something like that. or you should be leaning in this because it gets reactions. You know what I mean?
It was a weird thing where I was like, watch. I remember when I watched it, I go, this is beautiful. And also, I couldn't imagine a world in which I would be able to post this without, for the rest of my life, my comedian friends not bringing it up. Like, 30 years. I pictured Bobby Kelly calling me like 40 seconds after if I had posted that. He would have been like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Just send it to your wife.
Yeah, dude, I do an individual podcast on our Patreon that like I don't want anybody to listen to because it's like it's all that. It's like that
a way
version
for you
of
to
myself.
get that side of yourself out. Yeah, which is like obviously it's a vulnerable side of yourself, which I had to put in the description of the video. I was like, this is a non-comedy song, and the amount of messages that I got were like, I was waiting for the punchline, and then it never came, and I was like, oh, this is just a sweet song.
Yeah.
This is so
you tricked me into listening
you tricked me to listen to a serious song.
Yeah.
You should have put the one break graphic in the back in the black should have been like not comedy.
Yeah.
Just
exactly.
Super
And so-
sincere.
Neon
And
sign
so let's hear Lewis's version.
are gay. Since the moment we locked eyes, I knew that you like guys. You fuck men. You long for the warm embrace, the jizz across your face. Fuck you, bro. And fuck God, he put you here. Holy shit, you're queer. And I don't know why you put out this video. I hate you and everything you do. And I hate you. Please kill yourself, my dude.
I thought, see, now that's way better than I thought. I thought for some reason, I thought the title of the video was "You Are a F word."
No,
That's
no.
way better. You are gay. All right, that's funny. Man, that's so funny.
Dude, and honestly, I write a lot of music comedy songs. His lyrically, he was on point.
Yeah, it was like an
really
Eminem
strong.
level
it
of
was good. He used some of my exact words. He used embrace. He used a couple of lyrics like
embrace and face. Yeah.
Shout out to you, Louis.
Yeah.
I do like-
tip my hat.
I heard
sir.
some onomatopoeias in there, I think.
I think there's a haiku that whispered in my ear at one point.
There is one line where his creativity clearly went away when he's like, "Fuck you, bro."
You can tell that was like 9 takes in. He's like, all right, I'm late to 6 meetings and 4 podcasts. Let's just go. Let's go. Fuck you. Oh, that's so fun. I love like comedy wars when they're like in jest and they're not like serious.
What's fun is like it's a true West Coast, East Coast thing because I think that sometimes I represent what some New York comics think all LA comedy is, like very performance-y and very theater, very act-out based. And so I think like when that's called out like from East Coast to West Coast, it just makes it fun.
That's so funny that you have that perception because I have the opposite, where I think you're like so accepted in New York that you're almost not even considered that LA big, and you're a big act, so I'm not taking that away. Like, and it's good. I like people that perform and write. It's like, you know, it's kind of what you're supposed to do. But it doesn't feel like LA. Like I've seen guys that I started out with, especially where they were like handsome guys, and it was off the, you know, it was like how many people started playing poker after Moneymaker won. It's like how many people started doing comedy after Dane blew up, and you know, it's good looking guys with tight fitting shirts, and they're like doing the exact mannerisms and all that shit. And it's like listen, like go to LA maybe, like, you know, then maybe you can get something on something. But I never got that vibe watching you.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I'd love to hear that. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that that even though I'm more performance driven and act out based, I still pride myself on the writing is there. It's not all it's not all like come on guys, give me more.
Well, it's like watching an impressionist that doesn't have jokes, where you're like, oh, that person is so dead on and they're just repeating the words.
Well, my thing, I have a couple times, like maybe just one act out where I like an impression where I'm like, this is this impression doing this, because that's like a classic setup.
Yeah.
My favorite impressions are when you can organically sneak them in without having to present them like on a platter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it would go a little something like this.
Right, exactly. That's like when it's hard and cringy. Like,
what
to
if
watch as an
Pacino
audience.
was a gym teacher?
Yeah.
Hey, run your sprints! I literally had a guy, this kid Adam Felix, who, you know, I have no idea what happened to that kid. He's one of the guys that you come up with in comedy and then they fucking disappear off the face of the earth.
They smarten up?
No, that's not what happened with him. He's I've looked for him, so if anybody can find him, I'd love to talk to him.
Seriously, I saw him on a poster.
Yeah.
Growing concern.
He's on my almond milk.
But he was 15.
A lost child on an almond.
Yeah.
It's like that's such a specific demographic of people. Like he was a rich kid.
Yeah. He's last seen right outside Calabasas.
Dude,
and,
That is funny. When downtown Brooklyn kids go missing, they get put on almond milk. That's fucking funny.
It's like, that's so funny.
But so this kid, he was like a jacked 15-year-old black kid that like was raised by his grandmother, and he was very, very big, and he was like 100% impressions, and he was a terrible impressionist. But he was like kind of funny, but you could tell that it was like more like pain and anguish than it was actual humor. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he used to like literally full sprint and like run into walls on stage and like fall down and in the middle of an act out, and people would be like, okay. And he, you know, it was one of those things, but he had the classic setups of like, what if this person and this guy had a conversation on a roller coaster. It was like, it was Arnold going to, I mean, that was actually better than
Well, I used to see a comic. This was only like one time I saw this comic, but after every act out he did, like there would be silence from the crowd, and then he'd go, and that's what that looks like.
What a fun way to end it.
Like,
and so that's what you saw is what you would have seen had it been the actual celebrities. And
all right, this next bit, it's like a weird like playlist where like what is happening right
and
now?
that's what that looks like.
Yeah,
I love that. I'm gonna start using that for things. Right? Even after not in comedy at all, but just in general, we'll be like, we'll have sex, or I'll have sex with Erica. Then I'll just be like, and that's what that looks like. You know?
A quaking, shivering mess.
Oh.
That's when you wanna make your Irish goodbye.